Check 1. Check 2. Welfare check. Mid-month check. Family lounge check.
That's going on here for sure. Oh, should we just get right into it?
Yeah, might as well, eh?
Do it up. This is my bro, Justin. He's a mechanic.
Underground mechanic. Get it right.
Sorry, I'm just a lowly electrician.
I mean, you could have been an underground electrician.
Yeah, I had opportunities.
Yeah.
But I said, hey, Demi, I got this job offer in BC. She said, no, you didn't. I said, oh, okay. That was the end of that. But yeah, we're in Brochet.
Brochet, Manitoba. I love this place.
Yeah, it's how far from Nunavut do you think? 3 hours, 4 hours?
4 hours. Well, I think it's close to 4 hours on a skidoo, so it's probably a little less like if there was a road.
Right.
Yeah.
So up north, we've been up here since
April,
doing boxing and weightlifting,
nutrition, lots of mental health work too.
Yeah.
Before we start our classes with the adults, we'd do some mental health shares, which has been really good. Noticed a huge shift in everybody, speaking more, not necessarily speaking about mental health, some of them, but, they're just opening up more, talking to us more, interacting with us more. I remember when we first started, they didn't say a word. Remember, they were all quiet. And I think that's, one of the things I learned about this program we're doing now is showing up consistently.
Right.
People get comfortable with you. And then I think eventually, hopefully, we'll start to see them sharing a little more with us, eh?
Yeah. It's way different. I know we were just talking about it, but like being at this community is way different than any community I've ever been to. Just being here every day, being here consistently, and they know that we're coming back when we do go back home, and just having like a plan that's like a year set plan instead of a couple weeks or a couple hours. It's just like there's so much we're able to do and get done and connect and build on.
Yeah, even one of the good things this week is like a lot of the guys, that didn't come this week. They still came by every other day to say hi and, let us know that they're sorry for not coming, that they're doing other stuff. But, it's good to see that, right? That they want to be there, but they just have other stuff going on. And it's good to see them come out and say hi and interact with us a little bit. And, it's really cool to see that huge change, that huge shift, eh? Yeah. Just from not even saying, hardly anything to us when we first started. Like it was like, I think our first 3 weeks up here, was pretty quiet.
Now we can't walk anywhere without somebody. Hey, cool. Hey, Justin. The kids running up to us.
The kids, yeah. And the kid, it's so cool because the playground's right across from the youth center there, and all the kids will be screaming at us, "Cole, Justin, hi!" Screaming, hi!
It's cool to like feel like we're like a part of the community.
Yeah, I've always felt like that since I came here.
Yeah,
but like just with everything else going on, now I feel like more and more every time we come back.
Yeah,
more and more and more part of the community. It's great. They really like to get everybody involved in doing everything here, and it's really nice to see that too.
Yeah, very like community oriented.
Yeah.
And they just like even with like the fun activities they do with like the fishing derbies and the hunting competitions, and they do stuff, but it's not like just stuff. It's stuff to help bring food in, to bring whatever resources they need. So it's like a fun activity, but it's like it has a point to it too,
yeah. And it's so cool to see, like, because obviously they're isolated up here. You can only come in by plane, or they drive out to Kinosio and then come in by boat, and every time they need something, anybody they ask for help brings stuff up for them. Right. They have that help wherever they need. If somebody's in Winnipeg or Thompson or whatever, right? It's like they help each other a lot here. It's very cool to see that.
All right, and that's the podcast for today.
Okay, thanks, guys. Have a good day.
No, I wrote down some. So I was looking at my own personal. I have a list of like core values on my phone. So then I wrote a question for you on each one, and that's what we're gonna do today.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay, so we're gonna go through each one, and then I have a little question, and then you can just expand on it, and we'll see how this goes. See if it turns out how I
How you
envisioned
envisioned it?
how I envisioned from 30 minutes ago when you first texted me. Good morning.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
Um,
That's what I kept thinking about all morning. Like, I wonder what we're gonna talk about.
yeah, because when I got home, I didn't think about it at all because I just fell asleep right away.
Me neither.
Like within like 10 minutes, I
Yeah.
was out.
Yeah.
So my first I'll go through them first, I guess.
Yeah.
So these are my 10 core values: family, leading by example, fatherhood, freedom, resilience, discipline, accountability, positive impact, selflessness, and being a lifelong learner. So those are like 10 things that I value and I try to be and try to act on. Yeah, okay, so the first one, family. When you look back at your life, what lessons from your family have had the biggest influence on the man you've become? And what are you determined to pass on to the next generation?
When I look back at my family, I I remember about the things that I always remember is how close everybody was. We always spent a lot of time together. We were always together, whether it was with my dad's family or my mom's family, but they were always together. You know, and I'm not sure where that shifted because I left. When I was very young, and it was still like that when I was there. So that's one of the things that that I want to start doing is being more family oriented like that and start spend more time with like my immediate family, like my closer family, rather than just at home in PA with with the wife and the kids there. I like to spend a lot more time with my family and then teach them to be, because Rochelle's still very family oriented like that, right? Her family always comes to PA, they're always together and they always make time for each other. And that's what I want to pass down to my kids too. Because it's, I don't know, I think family is very important. Even friendship, when I was when I was early in my sobriety, um, I started working in the mines. I didn't really have a lot of friends. I had to isolate myself from everybody because of the drinking, right? I wasn't strong enough. And every time I went around people, they wanted me to drink. And then I just isolated to a point where it got so bad that I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't talk to my family. I didn't reach out to nobody. The only people that I talked to were the girls that I was chasing. It became so bad like that, to the point like where when we even started this business, you know, I had trouble interacting with people, like I remember one particular thing. This girl came over for a sweatshirt, and a normal person would open the door when she knocked and said, "Hey, how you doing?" And you know, maybe made a little small talk or whatever. I was like, "Hey," handed her a sweater, and I shut the door on her face. But that's how bad it got for me, right? That's to the point that's I isolated so much, and I think that's where a lot of my depression came into. I mean, mixed with some other things too, right? But because I was always alone, I always had this thought in my head that people only want something from me when they text me, and that's what I had because
Right.
that's what I attracted, right?
Yeah.
So every time somebody texts me and was like, "Hey, bro, how you doing?" I was like, They just want money." And sure enough, they'd be like, "Hey, bro, you think I borrow $40? My kid has no Pampers."
Right. Yeah.
Classic one.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I don't mind, helping people and stuff. And I did. I helped a lot of people, but there just came the point in time where I just had to stop giving,
Right.
you know. So that's what I want to do with my family, is start spending more time with them, especially because Man, he's like 68 now, 69. I'd like to spend more time with him, especially fishing, doing the things he loves to. I love something you don't love. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
This isn't about me. I it's like that's how I feel too. I feel how I'm not close to my brothers, my sisters, even my parents, and my we just never grew up that way. Even so, I grew up with my mom, and even her with her brothers. Like everyone was in a different province. Everyone was just like. And then when I got to know my dad's side of the family, like they're all in Saskatoon. They all like help each other. They're all like they see each other every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so different. And then I remember just like thinking of like my friends in high school, like two of my good friends, Antonio and Vicente, they're brothers and they're just like best friends. And I remember like just thinking like how come my brothers and
Yeah.
me aren't best friends?
Yeah.
And then I just want that for my boys.
Yeah.
Like I just want them to be like their own like it's like a built-in support network you have forever, right?
Yeah, and you have to, I mean, that's how me and my older brother grew up. We were I'm closest with him than I am any of my other siblings. And, like anytime, that's how we grew up. We took care of each other, right?
Mm.
It's and in negative ways and in positive ways. If somebody was trying to fight him, I would step in and protect him. And and vice versa, he would step in and protect me if somebody was trying to mess with me too, right?
Mm.
So that's how our relationship was. And it's still like that today. I would do anything for that guy, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we need to teach. Like I try to tell people, like when I see siblings fighting and stuff, I said, that's your brother or your sister, right? You guys need to be there for each other, protect each other. I mean, you guys could play fight, whatever, but like, essentially you guys got to be there for each other.
Right.
Yeah. Run away. But that's something I always try to preach to, right? To people, like families. We got to be there for each other,
Right.
like back, like the old days, and stop fighting over money and dumb things. It's usually always money because somebody lent somebody $40
Or even like sometimes because the thing I see too happen lots, and it's like even with my own family, it's like when the parents pass and you just watch them fight over the
yes,
money
it's happening
that's
so
left
much now,
over.
eh?
It's crazy on
Yeah,
both sides. My dad's side and my mom's side. That
yeah,
happened when my grandparents died on both sides. Just fights within
yeah.
everyone. Just like that's gross, eh?
It is gross, like I heard a story not long ago. But his grandpa was in the hospital. It wasn't his real grandpa, like his grandma just married this man after they split up, and he wasn't even dead yet, and they were already. He said that
Mm,
his kids were already in the hospital fighting over who gets what, and like the man was still alive.
yeah.
Like, like
Wild.
that's crazy, eh? And I think that's where separations come from, right? That's where everything, because it's of who has what. We're all trying to be better than each other.
Right.
I have this. I spent 30 grand on a quad. I bought this. I have that. That's where that separation's coming from.
Mm,
Or somebody has more than somebody else, and then you know, or else we're like what I do now. Like if I help family or friends now or somebody, if somebody really really needs something, I'll try to help them. And if I let them money, I don't let them. I just give it to them.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
That's still
not
good.
expecting it back because like 90% of the time you don't
Yeah.
get it back, and if you do, then it's just a bonus, right? And it's
And then
just
it's your fault
yeah, 100%.
because you gave it.
Yeah,
And then but then most people blame that person.
yeah,
Why aren't you giving like who is and it's like you're like giving away your freedom,
yeah.
your peace,
Ex-
you're
ex-
letting somebody else control how you feel now.
yeah,
But if you do it the way you said it, and it's like if I get it back, it's a bonus.
yeah,
Now it's like it's free. It's like
yeah.
you did this thing, and it's just like
And then you
more
don't have to
peaceful
feel
way of
shitty
doing
about
it.
it, right?
Right.
And then, like, and you always see people posting, on Facebook, I let you money, pay me back, eh? I need that money to buy this and that. But it's like at the same time, like if you don't have money to let, why are you
Right.
letting money too, right?
Exactly.
Knowing there's a chance that you're not going to get this back. But like,
And it's usually like $20 or
yeah,
like $40 or 60
that's
bucks. And
That's
it's like,
only
you're making a post over
yeah.
$60, man?
And
Imagine, like, the energy you could put into, like, tripling that,
yeah,
quadrupling that.
and that's what I like,
Hey.
I've had people reach out to me about like what to do with for money or like or if they're struggling, it's usually about money, right?
Yeah,
So like I'll talk to them about things like what do you do? Like what do you do? Like cuz I don't know some of these people, right? So be like what do you do for a living? And they'll tell me and I'll be like, "Okay, well, is there like maybe something you can do to get a side job or like can you
right,
find some other side, some other work to maybe supplement to what you're doing, right? Like I mean, there's so much money to be made out there, man. Like in the summer, you can go shovel snow for 20, $30 a driveway, cut grass for 30, $40 a yard, right?
mm,
But we're too proud to do that. Or you can go wash cars for $50, right? You got 300 people on your block that you can go knocking on their doors if you need money really that bad, right?
mm.
There's ways to get it, but we just don't want to do it. We would rather just borrow, I guess. I don't know. But like we don't want to work for it, right?
Yeah,
And that's one of the things that like I've learned over the last few years, and especially like with running this business now too, because I've given so much stuff away, which I don't care, like, but it's just to help the business too, right? But like people think that because you have a business now, you have all this money, right?
mm,
No, it's not. It doesn't work like that. I wish
yeah,
it did. It's just like it's just like a funnel of moving money around from one place to the next to try to stay afloat for it until you start bringing more money in, right? That's the way. I mean, that's the way it is for me right now. We're just started. We're trying to always bring new stuff in, try to always keep stuff in, and it's just like it's just a big circle. Like, haven't really made money or haven't really, like I make money, but like the margins are not very big right now.
right.
Yeah. So, but like people like they think when you have a business that means you have money. I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
They just see the I don't know what they see.
the glamorous life,
Yeah,
I guess maybe. But like
they see posts or
yeah,
I don't know.
but like I've worked in the mines for 17, 18 years, so I made decent money there too, right?
Yeah.
Which helped me get to where I was to where I am now before I started the business. So
I think it's just such a different lane of being a business owner
yeah,
that it's just like not a thing that you can I don't know if, like not comprehend, but like it's just that you don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
yeah,
So if you've just never done it or been involved in that lifestyle, you just don't understand. So you
no.
just see, yeah. So yeah, it's
I
tricky.
mean, one of the things I guess too is people see our stuff everywhere, right?
Yeah,
So everybody's buying like our stuff, which is amazing, and I
right.
love that. I love the support from all those communities up north, Pine House, Pachinak, Lacrosse, or my hometown, Bobel. Those are some of our biggest supporters up that way. And but I mean, like, it's stuff and it's inventory going in and inventory coming back, right? So like
Mm,
every time you sell something, you got to replace it with something, right?
yeah, yeah,
And then your margins look big, but they're not really that big because then you got to pay for other things. You got to pay for an accountant. You got to pay for this. You got to pay for
right.
that. You got to pay PST and all these little things that add up over time, right?
Yeah,
So now that's something that I'm learning over the last 2 or 3 years. So that's why I had to like increase my prices a little bit on some stuff, which I didn't do by very much, but
yeah, yeah,
like I'm trying to keep everything as cheap as I can for everybody. So that, that's one of my things I want to do is keep stuff cheap for everybody, as cheap as I can
right.
without, gouging everybody or trying to make a lot of money. That's one thing I always, when I started this business, that's one thing that I wanted to do was try to keep everything affordable. Like I've thought about it, and as the business grows and we get more stuff, yeah, then I'll maybe put in a line where it will be different and be like a little more expensive, but I'll always keep that stuff that's
Yeah, yeah.
affordable.
Well, I think that there's two ways to make money, and there's one that's like where you just make the prices really high. You like brand it that way so that each time you're profiting 3, 4, 500% on something.
Yeah,
And then the other way is to just get better at selling your product,
Yeah,
and you just reach more people,
that's
right?
what I mean. Yeah.
So it's like now you're, instead of selling 100 a month, you're selling 200,
Yes.
500, 600
Yeah.
a month. So it's like those are the two things. You can keep your base and just like raise prices and find ways to make things right so that your margin of profit is bigger,
Yeah.
or you can just get better at the business you're doing and reach more people and scale it and learn that way.
Yeah.
And then you can keep your prices low, right? And
100%.
I think most people don't want to do the work to scale their business, because once they find out how hard it is and that it's a little bit trickier, they're like, well, I'm just going to do it this way, you know?
Yeah.
And that usually kills their business, right? Because
Yeah.
their initial clientele aren't all of a sudden making more money and now can afford this, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like those are,
You want to know where I'll tell you where I got like like my business the way I thought when I started my business is from drug dealing.
mm,
Because when I was a drug dealer, I used to get my drugs for, a reasonable price, and everybody was always selling theirs for lots of money. And my thought behind it was, if I sell mine a little bit cheaper, I can get more people coming to me and move more product. Like the more volume I move, the more money I'll make for myself, right? And that's where I got like my sense of like for my business, that's what I wanted to do, is keep it cheaper so people could afford it and people could keep coming back and buying this stuff. Like if I have, say, 10 different color hoodies, if people like the one hoodie for say 60 or $70, right? Or like I could sell all 10 of those hoodies to that same person rather than just charging $100 or $110 like some do and only selling one hoodie, right? Now I just sold 10 hoodies because, and that's how I used to think with drugs too. That's what I used to like, I never like played or cut anything that I ever had. It was just I always tried to have the best, and then always had tried to have good prices so I could bring more people to me and move more stuff, right?
mm,
And that's the way I started. That's where I got my business sense for like with the business when I started it.
that's good though.
Yeah.
Because even with, I remember going to a conference, uh, and the guy's, his last name was Tui Tupo. Tui Tupo. He's from the States, and he was a drug dealer. And then he met this, like, really just like religious, straight up, like, never did drugs, never. And they met and they went for coffee, and then he became his mentor. And his whole talk was how he sold drugs, and like the networking behind it,
Yeah.
like you actually have to be person to person, like building relationships, building a team
Yeah.
of, and how he used this to build his business.
Yeah.
And that was his whole like hours talk, was how he got out of drug dealing and into the business world. But every idea he had for my drug dealing, he put into his business,
Mhm.
and it still scaled and grew, and he became a multi-millionaire in like 5 years.
Well, like I see some of my friends are still in that life, right? So like, and I just think to myself, like, like you can get out of this, right? I try to tell them sometimes, and I'm like, you can put that energy that you're putting into selling drugs into something else. Like you can maybe try buy a business where you're selling stuff. Like you could probably sell cars or anything, right? Like if
Yeah,
you're in that kind of business, you can sell drugs to people. Like you can do anything with that. Like
definitely.
with that's a skill.
Right.
It is. It's like it's a skill, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to network, like you said, you got to do all that stuff, but then you also got to be wary. So you're always watching out for your back from other people, from the cops. Like it's a lot of energy, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, like that's what I try to tell them that, but like
People
the
think they're stuck there,
some of the
right?
money. No, I don't think they're stuck. It's just I think it's the money that they're making, right? Yeah,
Mm. Yeah, then you go to a legit business
yeah.
and you make nothing for the
You
first couple
well,
years.
yes, and like there's and you struggle a little more, right? But
Yeah.
so, what's your next
Should we get
question?
on to the second?
Yeah.
There's no way we're gonna get through all 10 of these. All right, number 2, lead by example. Can you think of a moment when you realized people were watching your actions more closely than your words And how did that change the way you led?
I think just like within the last 10 years, I started to realize like people are actually listening to me. Like when people find out I'm sober, like in the mining industry,
Mm,
guys I worked with, they find out I'm sober. I didn't really realize it at first, but like over the last like 5 years, I've really noticed it. But like when I think back about it, like back to it, it's been happening for quite a while, and I never considered myself a leader. I've never considered myself somebody that people looked up to. I've never looked at myself at anything like that, right? And just like over the last few years, like I said, remember I was talking, it was, I don't know if you were there the other night when we were talking about having conversations with people. Maybe that was just last night, actually, when, that's when I'm very good at getting people to open up and talk. Like to me, I would rather go talk to somebody about their life and about stuff like that, right? That was, oh, you weren't there. That was Oliver and Armin. But anyways, we were talking about it, and I said, I would rather know about your life than know about your side by side you just bought
right.
or your house you just bought, or like I don't like. It's not that I don't care about that stuff. I mean, I'm happy for you that that you got that stuff, and I'm happy for me that I can get that stuff. But like, I would rather know where you came from and how you grew up and stuff like that, right? I want to know that kind of stuff. So, and I
Yeah.
think that's where people start to look up to me because I can get them, we start talking and I'm listening to them, right? So I think that's where that changed for me when I realized that over the last 5 years,
Mm.
because I just, like I said, I had that, I don't know what it is. Maybe because I'm a good listener. Am I a good listener? What do
I
you
think
think, Cole?
honestly, even Demi the other day was saying that you have good energy.
Yeah.
Like you're easy to be around, and you're just like your energy you give off is just like put your guard down. It's
Yeah.
just like you just want to have fun and you just laugh and joke around, but like you're also like intentional.
Yeah.
Like you said, you want to you'd rather have like a real conversation than just surface level.
Yeah.
And that's yeah,
And like I said, it's not that I don't care about that stuff. Like, I'm happy you got it, right?
yeah,
But like, I don't care that you paid $35,000 for this side by side.
yeah.
To me, that's ridiculous. But
You just gotta ask how. How did you get that? And then we'll see.
yeah, I guess.
Maybe they went into debt. Maybe
Oh
they
yeah,
borrowed someone else's money, or
yeah,
maybe they paid for it cash. And then I'll be like, oh, like how? Like that's cool. And it's just like always, because even when I talk to people about like like on this podcast, like whatever they do, I don't actually care what they do. I care about why they do it.
yeah,
So then it's like it's easy to transition. It's like I'm a surgeon. Why? Oh, my dad was a surgeon and his dad, and now it's like now we have something to talk about.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
now you have like this generational skill. Like
yeah,
that's exciting, Or maybe it's like, oh, like my dad was in jail and like I just wanted to go the opposite route, and it's like now we have something to talk about, Like the why. Even when like I talk to people about like young teenagers and they're wondering what they're doing with their like it's like I'm gonna go to school for this, and it's like why that? I always ask why that, because it's like are they going there because their parents said they should, or are they going there because like they've been thinking about this for 10 years and this is like their goal in life
yeah.
is to become a lawyer or a businessman or woman, so it's like if you just ask why, it just opens up the discussion, I find.
Yeah,
um
yeah. And then actually too, like leading by example with what we're doing too, right? This program is another big, huge thing of that.
yeah.
Being there for the kids, trying to be there for the adults as best we can, as best as they want us to be.
That's even
This is a
Clint.
huge thing.
Clint came up to me when I seen him. He goes, I'm glad you won your fight because now I can actually take you seriously." Thanks. Thanks, Clint.
Sounds like you thought you were gonna get beat up, eh?
And then he goes, I'm the only one who got your autograph. He got me to sign his hoodie.
I know. I seen that on the way home. I was like, I wonder who signed. That's probably Cole, I thought. And then I heard him talking about it in the back.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, I want his autograph now.
In 10 years, I'll see it on Marketplace.
For $1,000.
For $1,000. All right, fatherhood. How has becoming a father changed your definition of success? And what kind of legacy are you hoping your children remember you for?
Changed my success in a way, I guess, that I wanted to work harder to make more money so that I could give them a better life, a life that I didn't have. But then that cost me time with my kids, right? Time with my daughter, because I was gone more. I was working in the mines. And then there was a point where I was working 4 and 2 shifts and 20 and 10 shifts, and I hardly seen her. And, like, so I made sacrifices to try and give her a life that I didn't have. But then I wasn't there for her as best as I should have been, or I could have been, you know?
Mm,
So, like, if I could go back, I would have just stayed, like, working the 2 and 2 shifts or something 1 and 1 or something, just to spend all that time with her, to spend more time with her, because I lost, like, 3 years where I only seen her for, 1 week or 2 weeks at a time for, every 4 or 5, 6, 8 weeks. It's kinda like my daughter in Calgary, I guess. I only see her every 3 months, right? And I wish I could spend more time with her. But, like, one of the things that I wanted to do with my kids is to know that I love them. I want them to know that. I always wanna show them that. I wanna be affectionate with them. I want them to, understand, because I didn't feel that when I was growing up, right? I didn't have that. I didn't f well, I it's not that I didn't have it. It's I didn't feel it. I didn't know it was there. And, not necessarily because of people not loving me, is because I was in my own head, right? Because I was thinking about, like, why my mother wasn't there for me. Why aren't you here for me? Why aren't you here? That's the only thing I could remember thinking about. It's like, why can't I be with my mom? I wanted to be with her so bad, and it just, like, ruined everything else for me, right? And then it just turned me into a little, like, very angry person as I got older. And I didn't know how to deal with any of that, because we didn't have all these conferences. We didn't have people coming and speaking. We didn't have, like, like, we had a counselor in school, but I didn't talk, like, I didn't talk to her. Just went there and bullshitted.
yeah,
Like, I was never honest with anybody.
just
I
joking
didn't
around
yeah,
and stuff.
but I hid who I hid what was going on with me, because I didn't want people to know what I was going through, right? I didn't want people to know how I was feeling. I didn't want people to know that I was afraid. I didn't want people to know that anything like that. That's why I put on that, act like a tough guy. And and I was always afraid of everything. And when I got into my first fight in school, I beat this kid up, and that's when I got that little, that little
Mm,
sense of, like, I could beat people up. So then that's when I started putting on that body armor of, like, trying to intimidate people all the time. If somebody looked at me or, like, whatever, I would, like, that was my line of defense, was intimidation. Was calling people on, trying to fight to hide who I really was. And I don't want my kids to go through that. I want them to learn to be able to deal with their emotions and stuff. And, my older daughter was struggling with her mental health really bad, and I tried to talk to her. I did my best to, like, help her through it, and just let her know that, like, the things are gonna get bad and things are gonna get better. You gotta just be there, you know? Keep doing what you're doing. She's going to a counselor, which I'm proud of her for. She said she doesn't like it, and I understand, because I hated going to counselors. I hated speaking to therapists and stuff like that. And I said, "I understand." I said, "I know what you're going through, but, like, like, it's gonna help you eventually, you know?" Like, I know what needs to be done to fix people. Like, when I talk to people, I can I I can fix them. I think to myself, right? But I can't.
right.
We can't fix anybody.
Yeah.
We have to find ways.
But they'll do the work.
Yeah, we have to find ways to help them to wanna do the work, to be able to find that themselves, right?
Yeah. You know what I like? I really just listening to your answer. I was thinking something that you're able to do that I wish I could do better like from talking to you, you're very like you have a like you're very aware, like self-aware and like like self-realization. Like you have a lot of moments where you're like, this happened and then I did this because
Yeah,
that happened, you know? Like like how you just said you got in that fight and then it gave you this uh made you act a certain way.
yeah,
Like but like you do that often where it's like this happened to you, which made you do this. And then you're realizing it now, right? Maybe
yeah.
in the moment you didn't realize it. But like for me, when I look back at my life, it's very hard for me to like when people ask me why I'm the way I am, I always say I don't know. Like I don't know why. I don't remember like moments that changed me or made me a certain way. And when I look back at my life, it's very hard for me to do that. And it's you're very good at that.
I think one of the things I see with you is when you public speak, you're a good speaker. But I think when you're speaking, you're more outward than
Hmm.
speaking inward. You share about about what people are going through. You share about what people are doing instead of rather than sharing your own experiences. And I think if you look more inward and share more of your experiences, then you'll start to remember these little things, right?
Mm,
That's what I had to do before I started speaking. I had to go through these steps with AA and NA. I did the 12 steps, and that's where I learned all this stuff about myself. Because like if I didn't learn all this stuff about myself, then I would probably still be the same way I was, right? Because I was so like oblivious to everything. Nothing made sense to me. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know, I struggled every day. I woke up wondering what my life was for until one day I just woke up and everything started working.
mm,
And now I don't think like that,
right.
because one of the things that I was told is when you think when you worry about when I was thinking about that, I had my mentor with me, like my sponsor, I guess. I was still talking to him at the time, and I messaged him. I said, "Why? Like, this is like what's going on?" Like, I said, "This." I wake up thinking like, "What's my life for?" And this was when I was starting to get depressed and suicidal again. And I was thinking like, "Is this all that life is for? For working, going to the
Mm,
gym?" And like I was just struggling too with money because like I had all these bills and everything. Right? I put myself in a bad place at that time. So I just remember waking up and thinking like, man, like, is this it? Is this all life is going to be for the next 30 or 40 years? And then, and then he said something to me about, when you're not living in the moment, that's what happens with your mind. You're either, when you're going through things like that, you're either thinking about the past too much or the future. You're not living in the moment. And he said, when I finally snapped out of it and I was finally okay, and he was still in my life, I messaged him and told him, I said, I don't wake up thinking like that anymore. And he said, you're living in the moment.
mm,
Keep it up. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And but like that's my thought. Like with you, like I said, you're a good speaker. You share great things, but I think you need to like share more experiences about yourself, and then you'll learn more about
right.
yourself. Because like every time I speak now, I'll be speaking, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, I didn't. Something new will
You
come
like
up.
realize
Yeah,
something in the moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I,
That's a good idea.
yeah,
I just don't know where or like I feel like when I think of my life, even though like I went through a lot, I don't ever remember it being hard. So I don't want to make it sound light. Like make light of hard situations.
yeah. But there's a lot of speakers out there too. No judgment here, but that like that. I don't think my life was that hard either,
Mm,
but I still share it because like when I share with people, they think it's hard, right?
yeah.
Like my recovery, it was hard, but it wasn't hard because I knew I had to do it. I never thought that I'd be out sharing my story and sharing my life with people over it because it was something that I had to do. I didn't
Mm,
think it was that great of a thing, right? But like other people think it's great. It gives other people hope, and that's what matters, right? Because like everything I did in my life was something that I had to do because I was suffering so much,
mm,
because I suffered to the point where, like I wanted to kill myself all the time, or, I didn't want to be here, or like anything like that. So like when you suffer to that point, you either got to change, or, something's going to happen, right? And that's why I was willing to do everything that I did by telling myself I love myself. And my sponsor told me that. He was like, "Have you ever worked on self-love?" One time I was struggling with something, and he said, "You ever worked on self-love?" I said, "No, what do I gotta do there?" He said, "Tell yourself you love yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you love yourself." "No, I'm not doing that." I said, "That's dumb." "Okay," he said, "That's fine." And then I left it alone, and a couple days later, I was brushing my teeth. And I stopped and I looked and I said, "I love you." I said, "Fuck, that's dumb. I'm not doing that again." But I did it, I did it every day. And I did it for like 2, 3 weeks, and I start to feel better, and then I would stop. But that was my thing. Whenever I started to feel better, I thought I was healed. So I would stop doing the things that
Mhm.
that was starting to make me feel better. And then I would go into another spiral again, right? And it was like that continuously for 9 years. I did that. I went through that. And then a funny story, I was talking to somebody in the program. We were talking about struggling and stuff, and early years in recovery and all this. And I told him, I said, like, I've been sober now for, or how did the conversation go? I said something about me finally feeling better. It took me a long time to get here to where I am. I said, and I'm finally starting to feel better. I'm finally starting to understand things, and I'm finally starting not to worry about things. And they asked me, I said, "How long have you been sober?" I said, I think it was just over 13 years at that time. It was about 4 or 5 years ago I had this conversation. So, and this was just like shortly after I snapped out of that last depression. And I said, 13 years. And they said, yeah, it's usually around that 10-year mark, they say, when you finally start to figure things out. So that's why, like, when I talk about sobriety and all, and helping yourselves, like some people can get it. Like, I know a couple people that pick it up like immediately, and their life gets better. They know how to do it. They know how to handle themselves. They can control themselves. But I know other people that, are going off and on, falling off, going on. And it's just because we don't know, right? We need to learn. We have to be willing to do the work. And that's what I tell people. You have to put the work in, and you have to keep doing it. It's just like it never goes away, man. Like, if I stop doing the things that I do every day, it'll all come back to me. That's just how, that's just, it sucks. It does,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because, but the things that I do now are not as excessive as they were when I first started doing them, right?
Mm. Just like having that, like systems in place,
Yeah.
keeping busy,
Being aware, like you said,
being
being
aware.
aware of what you're, like I smudge.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
say, I do an inventory, not an inventory, like, yeah, I guess an inventory every night before bed. I say a prayer, just say that I'm grateful. I think
Mhm,
about the things that happened in the day. Or self-reflection, that's the word I'm looking for. I reflect and think about, what I did, if I did anything wrong, if I, like, what can I change about the day? If I hurt somebody, did they deserve it? Maybe people don't deserve it, but
mhm.
but like, I didn't say, like, I say it that way because, like, sometimes people, they do dumb things or say dumb things to you, but then when you say stuff back to them, it hurts them, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's why I'm self-reflecting in that sense. Like, could I have handled that different? Could I
Right.
have said something? Could I have chosen my words differently, in a way that didn't hurt them?
Mhm,
And why did I hurt them? Because did they hurt me with what they said? These are a lot of the reflections I have because
mhm.
I'm so vocal, right? I speak without thinking,
Right.
and I'm like, I think people need to hear the truth personally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'd rather tell somebody the truth and have them be mad at me than and maybe never talk to me again rather than lying to them, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because when you hit them that way, they'll never forget that, right?
Yeah.
They'll
And I
they'll
guess the self-reflection comes from, like, it's not that you didn't wanna say the truth, but maybe how I said it
Yeah,
or something like
yes,
that.
and that's what I had to step back and learn a lot, because I sometimes if somebody said something to me it would trigger me or make me upset, then I would
Mhm.
I would say things that I regretted.
Right.
So now I had to learn. when I reflected on it, I was able to learn ways to like step back for a second and control the situation now and not say hurtful things
Mm,
like on purpose
right.
and just try to speak my truth of what I see, and so that changed. So that helps a lot, the self reflection. And then just being grateful, saying a little prayer at night, being grateful for the day. Thank you
Mm,
for the good. Thank you for the bad. Thank you for all these lessons today, because any bad experience, there's always another lesson behind it. But
right.
if we're stuck in a victim mentality of poor me, poor me, poor me, we're not going to see those lessons, right? Those lessons come, they come and then they go right by, and we're too stuck in our own head to even see anything.
Mm.
So many good things happen to us in a day, and we're just so stuck on that one thing, being a victim, right? New clothing line coming out, victim mentality. Coming soon.
The way things are going, that one will blow up.
No,
But
it's just I think it's people, we just need to stop feeling sorry for ourselves.
yeah,
Like we're not the only ones that are going through something. Everybody in this whole planet is dealing with something. And some people's are worse than others, but like, and I think that's why we're just a bunch of hurt people going out hurting each other because we're hurting, right? Like what's that saying? Hurt people, right? That's one Shaylin always says. But another thing, now that I'm talking about that, my sponsor always just tell me when I first sobered up, he said, if you're lonely, hang out with lonely people. If you want love, give love.
mm,
Like those are the things he used to say to me, like then, well, after I said hurt people, that just made me think about that, right? So
you want
if
love,
you
give
want love,
love.
give love. If
Yeah.
you're lonely, hang out with lonely people. And there was another one, but I can't remember what it is. There was three of them he used to say.
Mm,
And I was scared of love. I hated love. I did. From anybody. Anybody got close to me, I ran away.
oh yeah.
Yeah. I
Uh,
pushed them away
It's
or
like
run to another.
protecting yourself from being abandoned,
Yeah.
right? So it
Yeah.
never happens.
Yeah.
That's like a very common one. It's like when you start getting close to someone, you start like when you get hurt again.
Yeah. And I wasn't even aware of it, right? I didn't even realize that I was doing it for that reason growing up. It was just a reaction, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. And I've been in relationships that I'd been through, like, and the L word would start coming out. I'd be like, it would be good in the beginning. And then like after a while, it'd be like, oh my God, like then like now that I think about it, I can think about all these things, like
Mm,
that self reflection again, right? Now I can remember, the way I felt. And it was
right.
because I was afraid that these people wouldn't love me because
Mm,
I used to think, my parents were my mother wasn't there. I used to think my mother didn't love me because wasn't there for me. And I used to think that if my mother couldn't love me, how can this other woman love me? And
mm,
that's what would freak the shit out of me. And I would run away. Or rather than running away, I would treat them like crap, right? Try and push them away.
right. Make them leave
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So that I didn't hurt them. And in turn, I would hurt them more than what I would have if I had just told them what was going on and told them the truth. But at the same time, I didn't know what was going on at the time, right? So, and it wasn't until I think I don't know if I told you this story, but it wasn't until my friend asked me. I went to visit him, a guy I grew up with in Alberta. I was out there one time, and he says, so "What happened to this girl?" He said, "Oh, I broke up with her. She was crazy." And he says, "Well, what about that other girl? She was crazy too. What about this girl? She's crazy." And I was like, and he looks at me, he's like, you know, maybe if everybody's a problem, maybe not everybody's a problem. He said, maybe you're the problem. And I was like, damn, bro, why'd you do that to me? Like it hit me in a way where it was just like,
Just stuck.
I knew it. And then, yeah, that's why it stuck with me, right?
That couldn't be.
No, it's
No.
not me. Yeah. But I was just like, but I mean, it didn't help me change immediately. I
Right.
still went through it, but I always had that in my head, right? And that's the importance of like being
planting those seeds too,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
You plant the seeds and then it takes a while
yeah.
to bloom.
And that's what I was gonna say. That's the importance of being present in the moments when you're having
Mm.
conversations, right? Because then, like, somebody could say something to you like that, and you just go right through, and then there'd be a lesson in it.
Not me. I'm just waiting to talk.
I know.
I know. When's my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got to be gone in 15 minutes. So we should wrap this up and we'll do a part two though, because
Okay.
we only got three in.
Yeah, let's
So
try
that's
again
good.
tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do it again tomorrow. Okay. How do you want to wrap this up?
We'll just leave it like that. Can you just put it together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. We'll do a part one, part two.
Oh, okay.
But like, how do you want to end right now? Holy shit. Listen to me eat this snack.
Treat by Demi. Let's end it with what's a good quote? End it
Wow.
with
Put me on the spot there.
stop, stop living alone. Reach out to people.
Mm.
Stop being stuck in your head. Stop being a victim. Stop letting dumb things ruin your day, ruin your life. When you get out of these things, you're gonna realize that those things don't mean anything that you're suffering from right now.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep doing the work, keep putting it in, and eventually one day you're gonna wake up and be okay. Even if it takes 9 or 10 years, just keep doing it.
Awesome.
That's it. Aho.
Oh.